So my name is Sasa Milosevic, and I'm from Toronto, and I'm actually in my fourth year in health studies at Queen's University. And this is my third year in the Student Works Management program. Before joining StudentWorks, really just the standard, mundane lifestyle of a typical high schooler, very little direction in terms of where I wanted to go long term with my life and with my career. I ended up painting for my older brother, who was part of the program at the time. And little did I know I was taking on an amazing opportunity, which has now, evolved into so much more for me. So it was really just through a series of really lucky referrals. So my older brother, who was at Queen's at the time, the individual he lived with in his first year, ended up getting recruited to the Student Works Management program a bit later in their time at university, and brought him on as a painter. And then really just they started working their way up the ranks. My brother began managing crews, asked me to come and paint for him. And then he took over the business. I managed crews for him. And now I'm in my third year of operating. So really just, the people and just the amazing referral system. One of the biggest things is just kind of from the start of my work experience, just in my life, walking neighbors' dogs, looking after people's pets, and kind of, a lot of babysitting gigs. I always just loved the autonomy and the self-directory and self-management that was involved in that. So I knew that I always wanted to be in a position where I could be my own boss and look after, the whole show. So basically when I had the opportunity to step up into the position as an operator and business owner, I jumped at it because I wanted to prove to not only myself, but my friends, family around me that, I can go and do that self-directory at a larger scale and succeed on my own without, being supported by my brother, who initially was the franchise owner. So really was just a big leap for myself in terms of my independence and confidence in my ability to, take that self-directory to the next level. My biggest concern with running my business for the first time was really just the fear of failure. So I took the opportunity to run my own business. Really, one of the biggest reasons was to prove to myself and those around me that I could run an amazing business on my own. And of course, the challenge with that is just what if you do fail and it doesn't, turn out the way that you had expected or planned. And that was really just the biggest fear for me. Throughout the process, StudentWorks really has an amazing coaching program and setup where I'm partnered with a business coach who's, for me, my, closest friend, confidant, and guide for how to go and run an amazing business. In addition to that, the culture and the community that StudentWorks does foster really made me feel supported and like I could reach out to anyone who was, seeing success in their business or who was senior in the company. So really, there isn't any line that isn't open for communication when it comes to needing support in the program. The hardest lesson was definitely just the peaks and troughs that you run into when running a business. Seeing all elements and aspects of the business, you deal with both the good and the bad. And sometimes those bads can come up on weekly bases with recruiting, with sales, with marketing. And really it's just understanding that, you get more resistant, more persistent and more resilient from running into those on a regular basis. And ultimately it's not even a concern or issue by the end of it. The most useful thing that I've learned really just has to be the power of going and taking action. So if I ever want to create change in my business in marketing, sales, recruiting, it's a matter of making and taking a number of steps to go and create those results. And as a result of that, I've basically been able to go and do that in my life as well. Anything that I want to take on, initiate in my life is just, as I understand now, a matter of action and taking steps to go and create that. For me, throughout StudentWorks, I've fallen in love with entrepreneurship and business management. So what I can go and do is just take these skills, which are directly translatable to running businesses, and go and find, a business type or a sector that is really my calling, and therefore run a successful business in that area, and be really fulfilled with what I'm doing.